Namaskar and good evening, everyone. My name is Lipika Mohanty. I'm a storyteller from the temple city, Bhubaneswar. About me, I have worked as an educator for more than 2 decades. And as a spoken English trainer, I have freelanced in many different institutes. And I tell stories to both adults and children. And I have my initiative, Katha Kamishibai, where I do oral storytelling as well as Kamishibai storytelling. And I'm more focused in making story cards, which are animated, movable with the movable parts. And now I am into my green arts, where I do sustainable arts. And this is all about me. And the story that I'm going to tell today is named Taupoi. Taupoi is the name of a girl. This is a folk tale, but at the same time, it reflects the very important historical aspect of Odisha. Its ancient name was Kalinga. Kalinga was then a vast kingdom, and it stretched from the northern eastern plains to Godavari in the south, and it covered parts of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Patna. So it was a huge kingdom, and it was conquered and ruled by the famous king Asoka the Great. And when Asoka conquered Kalinga, he transferred himself from Chandasoka to Dharmasoka. Chandasoka means the one who is a warmonger to someone who adopted spiritualism to Buddhism. So that is a lot about that history of Kalinga. So, but let me start with the story. So long ago, there lived a wealthy Sadhava. Sadhava means mariner merchants. Kalinga had a very rich maritime legacy. So people used to go to as far as the Champa of Vietnam to trade. And they covered countries like Java, Sumatra, Bali, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, even Rome, Greece, China, and far and wide, they did that. So that is a very important aspect of ancient Odisha. So they had this wealthy merchant, mariner merchant, had seven sons and one daughter. The youngest one was a daughter, and the seven brothers were married, and they had seven wives. So all the seven sisters-in-law and the brothers and the parents loved Topoi like anything. Topoi was a very adorable child, very lovable, and she was also very obedient. And she was pampered and she was taken care of. She had a very luxurious life. Everyone loved him, and everyone is very nice in the family. The family was happy and joyful, and they were very wealthy. It is said that during those times, the mariner merchants were so wealthy, even their caretakers, their maids, and all they were also wealthy, like wearing silken robes and wearing golds and jewelry and all those things. So there was no dearth of things and anything for Topoi. Topoi was very much contented. So one day, an old woman, the old women beggar, used to visit their house every month. And that day, Topoi was playing with her friends, as children would do with mud and stones and gravels. And she was playing with a bamboo winnow. And this old woman was like a wicked fairy in all fairy tales, like the Manthara of Ramayana. And she couldn't stand Topoi's happiness because she find her that she's always pampered, everything she wanted, she got. So somehow or the other, she couldn't stand her. Then she looked at her and very tauntingly said, "Oh, you are playing with a bamboo winnow. Had I been in your place, I would have been playing with a golden winnow, a winnow made out of gold. It seems no one likes you that much in the house. Anyway, it's up to you. I don't have to say anything." But actually, she said a lot. Topoi was very much disturbed. And she felt also very insulted because she told in front of her friends and little small children, like she was only 6 years old. She felt very bad. She rushed into the house and she cried. When she cried, the whole house was upside down because she was so pampered. Everyone came and asked, "What happened, Topoi? What happened? Who hurt Topoi? Why is she crying?" So many questions, but she wouldn't say anything. Everyone asked, the parents asked, sisters in law, brothers. Then the youngest sister in law, her name was Nilanthi. Topoi was very fond of her. She loved her like anything. Then she came to Topoi and she said, "Topoi, what happened to you? Why are you crying? Just tell me, what is your problem? I will sort it out." Topoi kept mum. Then she said, "Don't you think I'm your friend?" So Topoi now told her everything. And she said, "Oh, this is the thing you are so sad about. We will buy a golden winnow for you. Your parents can buy, your brothers can buy. I can buy for you." So Topoi kept quiet. So the very next day in the morning, the goldsmith was sent for. And Topoi's father, the rich merchant, he took out the required amount of gold from the treasury and gave it to the goldsmith and told her to craft a beautiful golden window for their darling daughter. So he promised that he will craft it very nicely and he will deliver it at the earliest. So soon the golden winnow came and Topoi was very happy and she started playing with her friends as usual. A month passed by. Then the women, the beggar, wicked beggar women comes again to their house. That day, Tokoi and her friend were playing sun and moon and stars with all the natural things they have found all around. And she, the beggar woman, she took her arms, had a meal, and then while going, she said, "Oh, you are playing with this, these sticks and all these things. Oh my goodness, I would have got a moon made out of gold, studded with jewelry and gemstones. It seems no one likes you. What is this? You are so dirty, so sappy, and you are doing all these things." Topoi was very, very upset. She rushed to her room and buried her face in the pillow and started crying. Then soon they got to know that what was her problem. So the very next day, again, the goldsmith was sent for, and he was ordered to craft a very beautiful moon studded with the gems and jewelries, and it should look so dazzling. And her father just instructed the goldsmith that it should be the most beautiful thing that my daughter would have, as beautiful as my daughter. So it was done, and the moon, when the moon was crafted half, Tokoi's mother passed away. She couldn't see the moon made. After a few days, the goldsmith took few more days to complete it. Then when the moon was completed, the goldsmith came and delivered it to their house. And Tokoi's father gave to Tokoi, "See, I have done the most beautiful moon for you, even more beautiful than the moon shining at the sky." Tokoi was very happy and she took the moon and was going to play with her friends. The very next day, her father passed away. Topoi was devastated. She couldn't think of when her mother died. She was also very, very unhappy. But her sisters in law, they healed her pain. They loved her so much that she gradually healed herself. And now the father has gone, both the parents are no more. So Topoi was always in a very, she kept quiet, kept to herself, and she didn't talk. But gradually, her brothers and sisters in law, they brought her back to normalcy. And everything was very nice in their family. And now, her brothers, they found that their finances were dipping, it was falling. It was not good as it was before. So they thought now it's time that we should go for a trade for more longer time and do some better trading and come back with wealth and wealth. So it was decided, the date was fixed. Usually every Kartik Purnima, the day It's a very auspicious day for all Hindus and all that. On that day, they start for the voyage. Actually, there is also at that time the northeastern um, wind flow, and it becomes easier for the boats to sail. So the boats or the vessels were ready. They are called boita. In Odia, it is called boita. They are large vessels, and actually they are sail ships. So the mast was held high, the sails were checked, and the boats were painted. Everything was ready, and they worshipped goddess Mangala, who is the protector of all people who worship her, and she tries to remove all the obstacles in their life. So they prayed to goddess Mangala, and everything was done. Then the wives of the brothers, they made ready for the festivity of whatever the aarti. We say it aarti, they will do the aarti, and then they will set sail. So everything was ready. Everyone gathered at the seashore, and now the cargoes, whatever things were there, were loaded, and they all got up onto the boat. And now it is time for them to set sail. With the sound of conches, they began, Akama boy, Akama boy, Panaguwa thoi, Panaguwa toro, Masika dharma moro. Akama boy, Panaguwa thoi, Panaguwa toro, Masika dharma moro. And in this way, with this relation and the sound of conches and bells, they started to grow. That they are worshipping the sea, that let this voice be very nice and safe, and let there be everything good on their way to the journey and return back home. So they set sail. Now, at home, Topoi is being taken care of by her sisters-in-law, and she was very happy that they were swinging Topoi on the swing, and the sisters-in-law were dancing, singing. At that time, the wicked beggar women comes to their house, and they couldn't hear her poem because they were busy with the play, game, and everything. And then when she called for the second time, third time, they realized that someone is calling. They went to her. She said, "Oh, you couldn't hear me. You are busy with pampering this girl. Why are you pampering her so much? Do you think she will take you all to heaven? You don't know, she's evil. See, her mother died, and within a few days, her father died. And see, she's not right. And once your husbands will come, she will tell bad about you, and they will throw you out of this house. She will reign the house, you know. So she is not evil. Just make her work. Why are you pampering her so much? Make her work. Tell her to guess the cattle. What is she doing? Only playing and eating, doing nothing. Oh, it is as you say. I don't have to tell anything. Your wish. Now, all the sisters in law, she poisoned the mind of all the sisters in law. And they thought, yes, why are they doing so much for her? She should also work, even if she's a small girl. But they couldn't think of that. Except the youngest sister in law, everyone treated her badly. They became so indifferent to her. Now Topoi was always feeling so bad. Her life became very sad and all that. And they would send her to raise the cat. And she said that old women had also said, once she goes to graze the cattle, maybe a tiger will kill her, or maybe she will be bitten by a snake, and you all will be free from her. So send her to that. So she went, and she was feeling very bad. She had never done such work. And they gave her food also. Whatever food they gave were not very good. It was all leftovers, stale food, and she had to eat that. But on the day when the seventh sister-in-law had to give her food, that day Topoi will eat to her heart's content. She will give everything that Topoi eats, and that Topoi's favorite. So in this way, Topoi's life became very miserable. One day, when she returned from grazing the cattle, one goat was missing. That was the elder sister-in-law pet baby goat. So when she was not there, that sister-in-law beat her very hard and she abused her and she threw her out of the house that you have to go find the goat, otherwise don't return home. So Topoi couldn't know what to do. It was getting dusk. Then again she started for the meadows. And her name, the goat's name was Gauramani. She said, Gauramani, Gauramani, Gauramani. The baby goat didn't turn up. She was very sad. She went on looking for her into the jungle. While she was going, she saw a faint light from somewhere. She went up to that place and she saw that girls were sitting and they were praying Goddess Mangala. And she knew that Goddess Mangala will grant all your wishes. So she prayed hard that, oh Goddess, let my brothers return as soon as possible. I cannot bear all this pain, all this torture anymore. And please bring back Gauramani, otherwise my sister-in-law would beat me hard. And so that even that night she slept in their house, at the veranda of their house. And in the morning, when she got up, she heard the bleating of a baby goat. And there she saw Gauramani was standing next to her. And she believed that the goddess has granted her wish. So she took Gauramani and went home. But after a few days, she couldn't take the pain, this torture anymore. And she fled away from the house. She went to the jungle, she roamed in the jungle and never to come back home. And now she was very tired, without food, without a proper shower. She cried. Every day she will cry. One day she was crying so loud. At that time, her brothers have returned, and by the seashore they had halted their boat. So when they heard someone crying, someone's cry, they thought, first of all, they thought it must be some evil spirit inside the jungle. But it didn't stop, so they went inside. And there they found a girl was sitting under the tree and was crying bitterly. So when they asked her, she turned and she looked at her brothers and she was so happy that they have come back, but the brothers couldn't recognize her because now she has turned into a skeleton. She was in rags, her hair unkempt, and she was looking, nobody could recognize her. Then she narrated everything. So they took her, they gave her a good bath, gave her new clothes, and told her, instructed her to sit inside the boat and wait for their instructions. And soon they sent message to their house that they have returned and they should do all the rituals that is usually done when they return back from the voyage. And so they did the preparation. When the sisters-in-law reached the port, they asked, their brothers asked, where is Topoi? They said, oh, she's taken sick and she's at home. So when you get back to home, you can meet her. They told a lie and the brothers kept to themselves. So they said, first there is goddess inside the boat. First you have to go and bow down to her. Then you come and finish the rituals. And they had given Topoi a dagger and they had said, whoever had treated you badly, you have to chop off their nose. So first the eldest sister went inside and Topoi did the same. Then in this way, all the six sisters-in-law's nose were chopped and out of shame and pain, they ran away to the jungle. And when the youngest sister-in-law went inside, Topoi hugged her and gave her a precious necklace. In this way, the brothers got united with their sister. The sister got united with the brothers and they went to their house happily. But Topoi had a regret. She repented having chopped off their nose. And then she prayed to Lord Shiva. And then their nose were healed, but they never returned to their house. And in this way, then Topoi grew. And when she was 15 years old, her marriage was fixed to a very wealthy merchant, and the marriage took place with much pomp and splendor. And the marriage was held, everything was done. And soon Topoi turned 16. When she turned 16, that day a chariot descended down from heaven, and Chitrasen came and took Topoi in that chariot, and they went up to the heaven forever. Even when her husband tried to stop, he couldn't, because Topoi was a celestial nymph and she was cursed to be in this mortal world on this earth for 16 long years and suffer the mortal pains. And thereafter she would be relieved from this curse. And that is the end of the story of the boy.
Okay. Thank you very much. So a turning point there is when the brother came back and gave her that special knife. So she cut off
Yes,
the noses of the bad characters. But then the story is nice in that it says the noses could be restored.
sorry.
The story tells us that the noses of the six wicked sisters grew back.
Yes,
So that damage was not permanent, but you say the six sisters never came back.
they never came back to the house.
They were exiled. You know, in ancient days, being exiled was a very severe punishment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So the chariot came and took her. She was what, 16 years old?
She was 16 years old. Yes.
But she had just been married.
Yeah, she was married. She enjoyed all the stages in the life of a woman in this mortal world. She suffered as a normal human being, but since she was a celestial nymph and she was back to her place.
But I feel bad for her husband.
Even I feel so. But this is a story in mythology, folklore, so like that.
It has some elements in common with the Cinderella story, with a young
Yes.
girl who is suffering a lot, but she gets some assistance, and she ends up okay. But the story, it's a little sad that she does not really find happiness on earth, right? Or but she goes back to heaven. But it seems like she has overcome the difficulties and she would have a happy life on earth. But it's not.
But that was her destiny that she had to go back.
But what lesson does that give, especially to young people?
It is actually like in India, there are many festivals where it is worshipped for a relation between the brothers and sisters. The sisters do a lot of festivals like Raksha Bandhan, Bhai Dooj, Bhai Phota in different places of India. In Odisha, they do especially in this month of Bhadrav, that which begins in the mid of September to the mid of October, for 4 Sundays. They worship goddess Mangala for the betterment and for everything good for their brothers. So this is the ritual actually, and on that particular day, they read the story of Topoi, that as Topoi had worshipped goddess Mangala for her brother's well-being, and that is why the girls do this puja, and that is why I chose this story. I was looking for a folktale from Odisha, and during this month, the festival is going on. So I thought of telling this story.
Well, I'm glad the brothers came back and gave that knife. That really helped their sister. But I'm sad that she had to leave the world. Anybody else? Any thoughts about the story?
Lipika ji, like was she on Earth for any reason?
You are
Rohini,
muted,
your
I
voice
think.
is a little soft. Can you increase the volume?
Can you hear me now?
No, it's still very
You're
soft.
very faint.
How about now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but we
Yes.
can't see you.
Now, how is it now?
Yes, all
Yes.
good.
Yeah, was she on Earth for any reason, for any purpose?
Although she was cursed to be born on earth,
Oh,
to go through the pains of the mortals.
usually in mythology we hear such things like, people who are born for a reason, they go through lots of struggles and then finally.
Yes. Yeah, it is mentioned in the book that the goddess is trying to take test also. Many a time it happens that gods are testing our patience and whether in our bad days we are doing something bad or we are sticking to our good principles and good ideas and treating the right path. So that is there. Topoi did everything, but only by the instructions of her brother only she used that dagger. Since she had faith and belief in whatever her brother said, though it was a very big punishment for the sisters-in-law, but she carried on what they had told. But and again she regretted and repented, and she prayed to Lord Shiva that what she has done maybe it's not good, and they got restored of their nose. And
It's a nice story. I'm listening it for the first time. Loved it. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Then why did the husband had to suffer?
Yeah, that is the big
He couldn't have
question. Doesn't
he couldn't
poor
have
thing.
married, right?
Because he didn't know that. Even maybe I think that when Topoi was a mortal being, maybe she didn't know about her curse and all that. Maybe she had forgotten because she has to live her life in this mortal world, a new birth. And maybe she didn't know herself. Otherwise, she would have perhaps said, I am not going to marry. Right? The husband is poor husband, he suffered. That is there. Even he tried to stop her, but he couldn't because she has been destined to go back.
Okay. Thank you.
Deepa wants to tell
Deepa,
something.
go ahead, Deepa.
So, Lipika ji, I heard this story for the first time, and such beautiful information that you gave about brother and sisters sisters praying to Goddess Mangala for their brothers. And while listening to this story, I could actually see or imagine Thopoi and her brothers and sister. This is such a similar story that we have been listening or watching around. Something the similar storyline is about the Satyanarayan Katha or all those traditional tales, na the
Yes, yes.
pujas. And when she went back, when you said she went back to the heaven, I felt as if it's like in the real world also. When we struggle in our youth or any time, when there is a bad time through for a long period of time in someone's life, and when the good times come, when it is the time for you to reap the benefits of like good times, so
Yes.
suddenly people just
Give up.
either they go away or something like that. So this reminds me of the reality of life, that this is so I don't know what to say. Sometimes it can be fair, it can be unfair to some people, but yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
irony of life, right?
Yes,
Sometimes we
irony of
think
life.
we crave for something, but when it is so close to us, we just give it up. We just don't need that anymore, right? It happens
Yes.
like that.
Thank you for this story. I loved it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we will proceed. Kousalya, are you ready? Go ahead, turn.
Hello.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And
Okay. Okay.
can you move the images around on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suggest move your image to the bottom,
Yeah, I did.
drag it, and move the image of somebody who seems like a good listener to the very top.
Yeah.
And their image will be underneath the camera. And so then you can alternate between looking at the camera and their image.
Okay.
Okay?
I can see.
Yes.
Can see all the images.
So you're going to stay in gallery view and focus on the camera and the image right under the camera.
Okay.
I, for the recording, am magnifying your image, but nobody else sees that. Okay.
Excuse me, Eric. Eric, I think I forgot to show the images. Maybe the end.
That's
I
okay.
just forgot.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, Kousalya, please introduce yourself. Tell us about your work. Tell us the title of the story, and please tell us the story.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. And I am Kousalya Pari, and I'm from Chennai, residing in Chennai. And in the name of Kuraviye Kadakelu, I'm sharing stories with kids and for the elders too. The word Kuravi, that means the child. Everybody has a child, not only the school or primary or the kindergarten, not like that. Everybody has the inner child. So I have named my label, I labeled myself as Kuraviye Kadakelu. That means the child, listen to the story, come on. So I'm so now here. So I'm very passionate about sharing our stories for kids and everybody from childhood. So this is how I have started my storytelling passion. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. So shall I move on to my story now? So this is my own story, what I wrote recently when Eric mentioned that the title is about growing, transforming, maturing. So the title of my story is The Unspoken Soul of the Meru's Forest. I repeat, the unspoken soul of the Meru's forest. You all know that Meru, that is the mountain. Yeah. So I hope you can give a thumbs up for me so that I can continue. Yeah, fine. So my story is all about the mountain and the tribal people and a small boy. His name is Kanaya, who lives there with his father and mother and a troop of relatives. There in the tribe, in the mountain, we love to go for a ride to the mountain, right? We always go for a trip wherever we go. Let's go to the mountain. Yeah, it's cool, everything. But apart from that, people live there with pure air, pure water, pure soul. Everything has a soul. Like that, the mountain has a soul. Like that, my story starts here. There lived a small boy, Kannaya, and the group always have a song and a traditional dance, and they enjoy. They live with a harmony. The song goes like ru 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 chare ru 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 chare ru 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 ha ru 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 chare ru 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 chare ru 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 ha. Yeah, I mean, don't get scared of it. This is how the tribal people have the energy, that complete energy. Every day they'll have that fun with whatever they have, the body pain and everything, because they have to go for hunting and they search for their food all the day. But still, in the night time, they all get together, have fun together with the kids and family. That is how. So the Kanaya he is growing there with this lovely, lovely people. One day, Kanaya and his father came down to the valley. From far away, He's looking back to his mother Meru, that is the mountain. Pa, Mother Meru, Ma, looks so stunning, Pa. Ah, the mountain looks so beautiful, Pa. Yeah, my dear boy, yes, she's very beautiful. Amma, Pa, she looks so beautiful. He fell in love with the mountain. The father explains that, yeah, my boy, I grew up here. I learned a lot from this mountain. And now your turn. You are growing up here and you'll be learning a lot in future. Everybody's like that. Ma Meru opens her hand and hugs us always. So keep her safe all the time. So this small boy got registered that we have to take care of the mountain ever. So he was keep on traveling with the mountain. Slowly the day comes. Outsiders, the people got to know about the medicinal value of the plants in the mountain. So one by one, slowly they started to come inside. These tribal people, they are awesome, hospitable. They always welcome. Ah, welcome. They always keep a crown on their head. Welcome. Have food. Whatever they have, they serve. Oh, that's so nice they are. Like that, it happened. They welcomed everybody, but they don't know what's going to happen. So it's going on. 5 become 10, 10 become 50, 15 became 100, 100 became 150. Outsiders came inside the mountain. They never know what they are going to do now. They slowly started to cut the medicinal plant. Small boy. And everybody started to wonder, what's going on? We need this plant, this medicinal resource we need. The head of the troop say that. No, you should not cut that. Please. Everybody started to scream, but they couldn't do anything. They started digging and cutting everything. Oh, one fine morning, they forced these people to move out of the mountain or to the other side of the mountain. They are scattered into pieces. The boy, oh my God, father said, I have to take care of this mountain. How can I? Oh my God. Father couldn't say anything to him. At last, they left to the other part of the mountain. These people are cutting the plants, but one grandmother from the tribal people say, there is big disaster going to happen. But these people, they don't know that. Let's see. Because she couldn't do anything. They all left. One fine morning, heavy rain. All erosion. People are shouting, ew. They couldn't help themselves because they are all born and brought up there. All the people, the native people shifted somewhere else. These outsiders started asking for help. Please, help me. No one is there. At last, some times passed away. The native people came and helped them to come out of it. They helped them with the help of the medicinal plants from that mountain alone. At last, everybody got slowly recovered by the help of these tribal people. At the same time, the small boy and his father went out to the valley for a purchase. From the distance, he was looking at the mountain and he was saying that, Abba, Mother Mountain lost her beauty. Papa was scattered. Papa, what happened to Mother Meru? Because the mountain, the one part of the mountain, all the plant was shredded. The mountain looks like she's shedding tears. The small boy can imagine all these things and explaining and explaining and explaining, but his father couldn't say anything. They're coming back. All these people are getting recovered from the big disaster. And the small boy ran and said, Oh, oh, my dear people, you all came from outside. Just go away. This is my mother. You have hurted her so much. She lost her body. She lost her parts. Please go away. It was really, really painful for the outsiders to listen from a small boy. Slowly they recovered with the help of the tribal people and realized the time has come and they have to go out. And one by one, the outsiders slowly left away from the mountain. But do you all think the mountain can recover that speed and faster? No. The small boy became an old man now. And again, looking at his mother Meru from the long distance. And slowly, Mother Meru is recovering. She's getting her plants and plants slowly. And now the old man thought he's teaching his grandchild, Mother Meru is very beautiful. Never, ever hurt her. Never, ever allow anyone to hurt that mountain. Please, you have to take care of your own place. This is how Mother Meru came back to her own place, and the tribal people got their life back, the native, and they started to sing together. Roo, 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 da, re, roo, 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 da, re, roo, roo. Ha, ha. Roo, 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 da, re, roo, 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 da, re, hoo, ha. This is what they taught me, that be together, stay together, be happy together. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you. So how
Thank
did
you.
you come to create this story?
Sir, actually, when you showed me the title, I was in a really, I was in a trip to the mountain. There a man called Osai Kalidas, who works for the Rejuvenate Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. So I fell in love with that. I started to write there. So it came out like that.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So I really, every line, everything, I really felt so hard, and it was, I don't know, you people give me a comment.
That was
Thank
such a wonderful story, Kausalya.
Thank
I
you.
loved
Thank you
it.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
The voice modulation and the way you narrated it, I just loved it.
Thank you.
We also were there witnessing what was happening around the mountain.
Yeah. And
Superb.
for the younger generation, I wish to share this to the younger generation. Yeah.
Definitely.
I
Thank
totally
you.
agree with Padma Priya. So sorry.
Go ahead, Deepa.
No, I said I totally agree with Padma Priya. I enjoyed every moment, and that roo 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 that was so tapping. It was nice.
Thank you. Because they have that energy, from every time they
Yes.
work tirelessly, but at the end of the time, they work together, they stay together, they have fun, all these things. Nowadays, we are missing that in our family.
Yes.
Thank you.
I enjoyed your style of speaking. It was relaxed and natural, but at the same time, it was special.
Thank you. Now I'm working with the government for the government schools. where I used to go for sharing stories with the smaller kids, primary, middle school, and all. So I shared this story with them. It was really like worked very well.
Veena?
Hi Kousalya. Hi Kousalya. It was
Hi.
Vanakkam.
Hi.
I love your voice. It was awesome. The modulation, I liked it very much, and I never forget ru 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 ra re ru ru ru.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
But I enjoyed each and every part and your narration. Yeah, keep
Okay.
going. Best
Thank you.
wishes.
Thank you so much.
Veena?
Yeah, thank you, Kousalya Pari.
Yeah,
The
ma'am.
story
Yeah.
was very captivating, and of course, your energy. And like everyone, the Ruru part was very nice. Then the tribal song, if it is a tribal song, or
Yeah.
yeah, those few words, it's a different language that they use. So it's nice that we get to know another language.
Yeah.
I also go to the government school, so I was just wondering if I have to tell the same story. I mean, I can't tell the whole thing because I have not really read it or understood it. But which part of the story do you think the children would catch on to? Is it the part that you have to move away from the mountain and not cut the vegetables, or I mean, the trees or things like that? Can you broaden that a little bit?
Actually,
Talk
the
about
thing,
it on a little bit.
yeah, actually, which one was really, really admired, they captured a lot is first one is the song, as all you all said. First one is the song. And the end of the thing, when I when I brought it to the emotional part, no, they were like completely silent. They were very quiet. So it was like, why they have to go out? And they will say that, Auntie, ask them to don't go, Auntie, don't go. Like that, they will say repeatedly.
Okay.
So it was something the fifth standard, sixth standard kids, they can express all these things.
Okay.
So the emotional parts, so at the final, at the end, the old man, when the boy became, because the mountain should always take a long time to get back to the same form. So at the end of the thing, this boy became old man. So it will take that much time for the mountain to grow up big.
That was the nice thing that you actually brought out. So in the sense it takes that long that the boy became an old man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like that story in the by Shel Silverstein, I think, the giving tree or the apple tree, where the boy, as a young boy, takes a lot of things from the tree, and then finally, when he becomes an old man, he just sits on the stump of the tree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I heard it from you in the children festival.
Yes, I think I added some few.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, you were there at that time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I was there.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Rohini, are you ready?
Yes, Eric, I'm ready.
Very good. And I'm going to turn off my mic in a moment because it seems I'm getting some echo. But you're going to be telling a story from Eastern Europe?
Yes, yes.
That's like Russia or Poland or Germany?
It's from Croatia.
Croatia?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
This story was actually narrated by Dan Kedding, and this story was told to Dan Kedding by his grandmother, who was from Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I heard. So I did not read this story. I listened to his story on Spotify, and it stayed with me, so I just wanted to share it here.
Sure. And it's titled The Tear.
Yes, Eric.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stay in gallery mode, but as I'm suggesting to everyone, if you can, move your image to the bottom and move somebody's image who seems to be a good listener to the very top, and and then alternate between telling to that person and to the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rohini Jayanthi. I write stories, I write poems, I share stories, and this is the second time I think I'm performing on Eric's show in the adults storytelling session. It's a wonderful platform, and every time I come here, I work a little bit, a little harder than what I do for other usual sessions. And the story which I'm going to share today is The Tear by Dan Cuddy. Long time ago, in a village, there lived a boy. And his job every day was to take the goat, the sheep, down the foothills for grazing, along with his village men. And he used to take his dog along with him so that it guards his sheep. And the old men in the village used to sing beautiful songs, and the boy loved to listen to their songs. And every day he used to carry his beautiful instrument, tambourine. And as they sang songs, he used to practice them and play on his tambourine. And in the afternoons, he used to return home. That was his job. And one day, these people went far beyond the foothills and came across a valley which they have never been before. And as the sheep were grazing, the dog followed them. And this little boy looked all around, and there he found a cliff. He went close to the cliff, and there he saw a cave. He thought, wow, this is something good, wherein I can bring my sheep during the storm. They would be safe. He looked deep into the cave, but it was very, very dark. He couldn't see anything. And there was a rock in front of the cave. And so he sat on the rock, kept his lunchbox aside, and started to play music on his tambourine. He played for an hour. He played for 2 hours. It was mid-noon, so he stopped. He kept the tambourine aside and was about to pick up his lunchbox. Just then, he heard a voice from the cave. Play another one. The boy looked inside, all around him, but couldn't find anything. He was quite startled. He just picked up his box and his tambourine in the other hand, was about to run away from there when the voice said, please, please, can you play another song? The boy relaxed. He sat down and he started to play another song. And then the voice told him a story. The boy played another song and the voice told him a story. And as the evening was setting in, the voice asked the boy, will you come again tomorrow to see me? The boy said, yes, of course. And so he left. The next day, as usual, the boy came. He sang some songs and the voice told him stories. The stories were so wonderful. The stories of knights in armors, the stories of valor, the stories of happiness, stories of sadness, stories of promises kept and promises broken. Every day this was happening and this was happening. And one fine day, the boy sat there more than usual. The sun was low in the sky. Just then, the voice told him one sad story as to how he was the last of his kind, and how lonely is he in the cave, and how frightened was he to die all alone in that cave. The sun started setting and the rays slowly crept into the cave. And that was for the very first time the boy saw who was telling him the stories. As the rays crept into the cave, they first glistened on the sharp talons, a huge body full of green scales, huge leathery wings by the side, serpent-like long neck, rounded horns, and smoke curling out from the nostrils. The boy was looking at a dragon, and as the dragon was sharing the story, tears rolled down its cheeks. The boy stood up. He went close and kept his hand by the side of the dragon. The dragon flung open his eyes and looked down at the boy and said, "Aren't you afraid of me?" The boy smiled and said, "No. I can reduce you into ashes." The boy giggled. "I can tear you apart with my claws." The boy still smiled. The dragon asked, "Why aren't you afraid of me?" The boy said, "I know your story." And the dragon asked, "Are you going to see me tomorrow?" The boy said, "Yes, of course." And the same thing kept on happening and happening and happening. And one fine day the boy asked, "Why don't you come down to the village and stay with my family?" The dragon said, "My people fought thousands of years a war. They have spilled everywhere hatred and fear. And now if I come down to your village, your men will pick up spears, bows and arrows and would attack me. No, that is not going to happen." Then the boy said, "I'll think of a plan. I'll take you to my village." And as this was happening every day, the boy kept on thinking various plans. And one fine day, as the old men in the village were singing songs, one man stopped in between their songs and said, "How sad it is that nobody turns to our village. We have such amazing singers here. We come all the way down the river and go out to different villages to meet people, to see people, but none of them come to our village. Isn't it very sad?" That's when the boy understood what he has to do. That evening, he rushed to the mayor's house, knocked on the door. The mayor opened and said, "Yeah, what is it? Why are you here?" The boy said, "Isn't it true? Is it true that nobody comes to our village anymore?" Said the mayor in a sad voice. "Nobody comes to our village anymore. That's very sad." The boy said, "I have an idea. I know an amazing storyteller who can bring the people back to our village." The mayor was excited. "Is that so? Then I would definitely come tomorrow and meet him." Then the boy stopped and said, "Well, the storyteller, he's a very shy person. If you have to come and meet him, you have to blindfold yourself." "Blindfold?" "Yes. You can bring the entire city council and I'll take you there and all of you blindfold yourselves and you can speak to him, and then if you like him, we can get him to the village, and I'm sure that everybody is going to come back to our village." Mayor said, "If that is going to happen, I'm ready to blindfold myself." And the very next day, the entire city council, the mayor and the boy went to the cliff. There, the boy blindfolded each one of them and led them to the cave. All of them sat in a circle, and then came the dragon and started to tell stories. Stories of valor and knights in armors that stirred their blood. Stories of happiness that created smiles, that brought smiles on their faces. Some funny stories where they rolled on the floor laughing. After several hours, the dragon told them one last story. That was his story, as to how he was the last of his kind and how alone he is in the cave and how frightened he was to die all alone in the cave. And as the dragon was sharing his story, a tear rolled from his cheek and fell in the palm of the mayor. The mayor lifted his blindfold, looked at the tear, and looked up. He saw a dragon. The mayor reached out and kept his hand by the side of the dragon and nudged the person next to him. The person lifted his wheel and looked at the dragon. And so he nudged the woman next to him, and as so to the other people in the circle. And everybody stood by the side of the dragon. And when the dragon opened his eyes, he could see people standing next to him. And then the mayor asked, "Will you come to our village and be our storyteller?" "Of course, I would love to," said the dragon in a happy and a cheerful voice. Can you do a small favor?" asked the mayor. "Anything," roared the dragon. "Can you take us all on a small ride?" asked the mayor. And then the entire city council, the mayor and the boy jumped onto the dragon's back. The dragon flung open its leathery huge wings and came down to the village. People ran out from their houses, from the farms, everywhere all across. And they started to listen to the stories of the dragon. The word spread throughout the countryside, and everyone started visiting the village, listening to the stories of the dragon. The stories of happiness, the stories of sadness, the stories of fear, hatred, war, stories of promises kept and promises broken. And after several years passed by, the dragon was about to pass away, but he was not alone in the cave, but he had beautiful friends all around him. And his head was lying in the lap of a man who was once a boy, and the boy was singing songs to the dragon. And the entire fear and the hatred vanished with that one tear. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
You have a, well, somehow my voice is echoing. Rohini, I'm going to turn off your mic for just a moment.
Yes.
Or can you turn off your mic for a moment? Yeah. Rohini, you have a very strong talent of communication. Oh, just a moment. I have to hang up on this. It's not just that you look into the camera, somehow you imagine the people you're talking to. And it is such a powerful sense of connection that you have with each one of us. You know, I'm sure I hope I can speak for everyone. It felt that she was speaking directly to each one of us. So that is a talent relating to imagination, and also then when you do dialogue, you know, when you play a character and someone says, "Oh, dragon, will you come and tell us a story?" The listeners are put in the position of the dragon. And then the dragon says, "Yes, I'll come, but maybe you should wear a blindfold." So then the dragon is talking to the town people. So the listeners are the town people. So in that way, whenever a storyteller plays one role, the listeners are put in the other role. And it's a powerful form of audience participation, even though usually the teller and the listener are not aware of it. But the way you do it with so naturally and so strongly communicating, it's entrancing. Right? I mean,
Thank
the
you
way
so
the way
much.
she was telling a story, we couldn't put the book down. Do you want to say something?
Thank you so much for that, Eric. You made my day. Actually, I was running temperature for the past 1 week. I had viral fever. I was afraid like whether I would cough in between, but I could manage having some cloves in my cheek. Thank you so much for that, Eric. Thanks a lot.
Eric, you're on mute.
Veena, did you want to say?
Yes. I always like to praise Rohini for the English is not our first language, you see. Not that I speak my own mother tongue very easily, but the words just flow out. Rohini is a writer and author, and I think she pens some poems also. It's always lovely to hear Rohini, and then she will conjure up those visual images as she talks. So it's always very nice. Well, I was waiting for some more music from Rohini, but then I think she got up so caught up in the story of the dragon.
Yeah, I was unable to sing because of my throat.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rohini.
Thank you, Vinaji.
Priyanka?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Rohini. What an exceptional story. The way you set up the stage and we could all visualize it was beautiful, very enjoyable. Congratulations. And more important than that, the selection of the topic, the selection of the story is what I want to really share and speak for others. I think Deepaji also spoke what was there on my mind, the inclusion. I think we all humans want inclusion. So much so that the fear of being the black sheep and being alone in the cave haunts us. I don't know how many will agree here, but I think
Agree.
we are a bunch of creative people who have their own world of imagination, and the fear that we'll be left out and we do not really relate to how other people see it in a very material way. We really feel like that dragon sometimes, some days. I hope I'm able to connect on this with others.
True, true. Very right, very right.
So I think your story really stirred up how the inclusion part was very endearing. Thank you so much. And I love the way you spoke. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priya.
Good evening. Thank you. Very nice, very well narrated story. I'm
Sir.
Nageshwara from
Thank you so much, sir.
I think
Manju?
Manjari ji wants to say something.
Yeah.
Manjari ji.
Yeah. Thank you, Rohini. You told the story so beautifully and it conjured up images and we could picture it. And we really enjoyed listening to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The reason why I have chosen this story is like, the dragon, whatever story the dragon has shared, it's a narrative. So narratives are so powerful, and being so strong, sometimes we consider ourselves very strong, but we are vulnerable. So the dragon shedding down tears, the dragon telling about his fears shows the vulnerabilities, and most of the times when we show our vulnerabilities, we think people might reject us, they look down upon us, but it's not that. They will accept us more than ever, and they would share that compassion and that empathy. So that was the part which I really loved in this story. So that is why I felt it. It connected to me so much. So I thought I would share this.
Okay, thank you very much. So now from Rohini to Rahini. Rahini, do you want to turn on your mic?
Yes, Eric.
Okay, and we're in gallery mode. So as I've been saying, if you can, move your image to the bottom and move the image of somebody who seems like a good listener to the top. And,
Yes, I did. Yes. Yes, I did.
Can you do that? Can you click on an image and drag it?
I did, Eric. I did.
Good. Okay, so please introduce yourself and tell us about your work. And you're telling from Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Exactly. Correct.
Wonderful. Yeah, and so tell us about your work and tell us the title of the story and please tell us a story.
Yes. Vanakkam. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. My name is Rahini. I live in Georgia, USA. I'm a psychiatric social worker. My native is Thurayur, Trichy, South India. This is the story talks about bond between two sisters. The story named Green Mangles. The story flows with the narration of a character named Lalita, who is a maternal aunt of Revati. She is the main character of the story. I will be using two Tamil names. Amma, we know, everyone know Amma, and Akka. So Akka means elder sister, Amma means the mom. So here is the story. Green bangles. Green bangles is not a green bangle. The bangle made with emerald stones. It's valuable and expensive stones. It was a beautiful day. Everyone was busy in their home. The people are busy with their own work. Lalita was so excited and nervous. She was on a mixed feeling because her daughter is getting ready to go her new home because she got married and she was packing her stuff. She keep asking her daughter, "Hey, you took this one? Did you pack the orange sari?" "Amma, how many times you ask me? It is orange silk sari in the bag." "Okay." "Hey, Revati, I packed all your stuff, masalas, podis, pickles, and everything, and I kept in the yellow box." "Oh, you told me several times, Amma. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm good. You packed and you did a lot of things for me. I'm so happy. I'm so happy about it. And I know what is going on. So don't worry about me." And she hugged her mom. When she hugged her mom, she realized there was no green bangles. "Hey, Revati, where is the bangle? Your parents gifted that for your marriage. It's so expensive one. Where is that?" "Oh, Revati. Oh, Amma. I'm already wearing a lot of jewelry. Why you are asking about green bangle?" "No, Kana. This is very expensive and this is our family gift. You have to carry when you are going to your in-laws place." "Oh, I don't have any space to wear. It's all full. I kept it in my bag." No, no, no. This is the precious one. You have to wear it in your hands." Revati got scared, afraid, and she don't know what to do because the bangle is not with her. She don't know how to handle the situation because she's her mom. Finally, Revati said, "Amma, it's not with me now. It's with my sister." Lalita, "What? It's with your sister?" "Yes. Akka is in trouble. So, what? Akka in trouble?" "Amma, please listen. Akka is in trouble. She have had some financial issues. So, I gave my bangles to her." "What do you mean? What do you mean? You have to say before anything you do like this. This is your marriage gift. You have to carry with you. How can you give your bangles to your sister?" "Amma, it's okay. It's our Akka. Let her carry. It's okay." "No, no, you cannot say like that. You have to discuss and you have to ask permission. And at least you have to inform me." "So, what's the problem?" Then Lalita's elder sister is entering the hall and asking, "Oh, what is going on? What are you guys are talking about?" Lalita was explaining what's going on there. Oh, Lalita's sister was not happy. She said, "I didn't expect this from you and I'm so upset." And she was really upset. Lalita said, "Oh, it's happening again." Lalita's sister was telling, "Lalita, stop. No, no, Akka. I have to say this to our kids because let everyone know what's happening in our life. And kids should know what to do and what should not do. It should not repeat anywhere." They both are upset, and Lalita was started telling her story. Lalita got married at the age of 14, and it's the same. She was packing her stuff and getting ready to her new place. Before going to her in-laws place, Lalita wanted to see her elder sister, who is living next to her in-laws place. Her parents agreed, and took her to elder sister home. And Lalita was so excited meeting her sister. By the time when they reached the sister's place, her Lalita found her sister was not happy, and she looks very dull, and talking very little. Lalita afraid. What happened to Akka? Why she is not speaking to me? What happened? She wanted to know the reason and calling Akka. Akka, can you show me where's the restroom? Yeah, her sister took her to the restroom. By the time she asked, Akka, what happened? I came here. Even before going to my in-laws place, I just wanted to see you. I wanted your blessings. I came here. What happened to you? Oh, you are not speaking to me. I came here to see you. What happened to you? Her sister cried a lot, and she was nervous. Lalita don't know what's going on. What happened to her sister? Akka, are you okay? Are you okay here? What happened? Why you are crying? Her sister was telling that, Lalita, the bangle our parents gifted me, it's our prestigious family gift, which I brought here, was missing. I was wearing for the family function and kept it in the bag, and it was not there. I searched all over, everywhere, every single portion of the house, but it was not there. I'm so scared asking people here. I'm scared to talk to my mother-in-law either. I don't know what to do. I have to wear that bangle for the Diwali function. It's in the next month. I don't know what to do now. I'm scared and afraid. Oh, Lalita empathized her sister and hugged her. Akka, relax. It's okay, Akka, relax. She kept telling Akka, relax, relax. By the time she got an idea, Akka, we both have the same bangles, right? I can give mine. Please keep it for now and manage the situation. I get it from you later. Immediately, her sister agrees and took her Lalita's bangles. Lalita left the place and went to her new home. Lalita's in-laws welcomed them after a meal, after a feast. The conversation slowly moved to the dowry and gifts, what the new daughter-in-law brought to the family. And Lalita's mom was so proud and happy talking about their gift to her daughter, and particularly about the emerald bangles. Now, Lalita was nervous because the bangle is not with her, so she don't know what to do. She literally cried immediately and don't know what to do, what to say, and suddenly said, I gave to my sister. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't ask you anyone. I just gave because Akka is in trouble. I just want to save her, so I gave the bangles to her. Now Lalita's mom was not happy and shocked. Oh my God, what do you say? You should not do like that. I was with you all the time. You have to discuss and you have to ask. We are here to help. Why did you do that? The Lalita's in-laws were not happy about the drama, what happening there, and they are disappointed, and they started telling that it's a family drama. Just leave them. We don't want any dowry or any jewelry from you. We want some we like your daughter, and we don't want anything. So it was not a pleasant situation, and Lalita's family left the place. After that, Lalita was not treated properly in the home, and everyone started complaining her behavior. She was very young, handling the situation, and every single day the people started blaming for each and everything what she do. And suddenly, Lalita stopped eating properly. She lost her sleep, and she was nervous all the time. One day she fainted and fell on the floor. Lalita's co-sister was telling that she got some issues, some nervous issue. She is already not genuine or genuine, and she got nervous, and I don't know what's happened to her, and she's not healthy. Better drop her to their parents' place. Let them handle her. Her mother-in-law also agreed that, and she called her son, who is studying a bachelor degree. He came home, and everything was discussed. What happened and what's going on in the family were discussed to him. And Lalita's mother-in-law decided that better you drop her because she's not eating anything, she's not mingling with everyone, and not handling the situation. And now she fell down. She might have some health issues. I don't know what's going on. Let her relax in their parents' place. Let her stay sometime there. Let their parents decide what to do next. He agreed and dropped her to parents' home. Lalita don't know anything. She didn't understand what's happening to her. She was so happy and excited because she's going to meet her mom. She went to her home and excited and hugged her mom. Amma, I came home back, because she was so young to know all this. Her mom was so upset. Oh dear, you have to understand. You are married now. You have to understand what is going on to you. You have to speak to your people. But Lalita didn't understand anything. She wanted to be in her parents' place, and she started enjoying the parents' place a lot. She was so happy. And after a year, she got her puberty. By the time it was a ritual, they have to inform the in-laws that the girl attained the puberty and you can come and take her back. They sent a letter, and nobody returned to the letter. And no contact between the families for years. After some time, the Lalita sister came to know what's happened to her sister, and she was staying a long time in her parents' home, even after she attained a puberty. She immediately rushed to her parents' place with the bangles and said, "Oh my God, I'm the person spoiled my sister's life. I don't want the bangles anymore. Please keep it. I'm so sorry about you. Everything happened because of me. That is my mistake. I have to be here before. I'm already late." So she convinced our family and took the family to Lalita's in-laws' place. They explained everything, what happened between the sisters. It was only because of the bond between the sisters, not intended to cheat anyone or intended to lie. Her mother-in-law was so upset. She don't want to spoil it. Her daughter-in-law's life was her son's life, but she was upset because she felt that the family cheated her. When she come to know that it is not her intention, so she agrees, and they joined together, and she accepted as a daughter-in-law. This was the story that Lalita was telling. By the time, there was a big laugh from the room, corner of the room. Everyone was turning to that side. The man standing was Revati's husband, who married recently. Everyone was shocked because he heard all the stories happened. Now Revati didn't have the bangles. The person said, the new groom said, "I married Revati for to live my life, to live rest of my life, not for the green bangles, not for the emerald bangles. Come on, I love Revati." So the story ends. Thank you so much. This is the story written by Ramapriya. It was written 60 years back. Ramapriya is a writer. She writes novels related to family sentiments. I took this story because this is not between two sisters. This is most, I think, 1 in 5 families happening. Every single family, I can say every single family. The women are facing the issues in South India. So I just want to represent them. So I took this story. Thank you.
Rahini, I would like to add, this is not about the state of affairs in South India. It's all over India. It's very brave of you to say this story. Thank you.
I'm not. There was a lot of sites explaining. Women are the contributor creating a problem. Women are expecting the dowry. It's not women. It is the system. So we cannot break the system. We cannot change the system entirely. Yeah, the thought come from our own mind. That's what the last part was my addition. The husband came and said that oh, I love the person, not the money, like that. So that was my addition. So the changes should come from the mind, not from the system never change. We have to change, we have to live our life, so we have to change. So thank you. Batma Priya, you are mute, I guess.
Yeah, when you said that she was not being called back, I thought that she'll get educated and then she will move on. Lalita will move on. So I was thinking on that line, but then it was some other thing. Very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Kousalya?
Bold of you to come and tell this story. And yeah, such stories need to be told, but not in such a soft voice, Rahini. You were very, I was a bit worried whether it's like a true family story or personal story, and it's slowly coming out. Yeah, these kind of stories are there everywhere, but as you say, the last part is nice where the mindset changes, but whether the mindset, and of course the TV serials that come out, they're all based on these kind of stories itself. So they are repeating, and they are feeding you with the same thought instead of removing. That's the sad part. Whether you see the Indian serials or you see the Pakistani serials, or I don't know any other serials, I don't watch them, but yeah.
It happening, it's not, it happened and it's happening. Even I know the same bangles repeated for generation and generation. I still have my grandma's bangle for some reason. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rahini. That was a really emotional story. Actually, the story always teaches something positive in either way. You can get some people get the negative way, some people get the positive turn. As ma'am said, if we are getting into the serials and all, no, that they keep on feeding the negative thing that these are bad, these are bad. But in that way, the changing of mind, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Kousalya. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rahini. And now, for the final story of the day, one of the, Rahini is in a course I'm leading, and also Anupama is, but Anupama has just gotten COVID. And she was supposed to tell a story tonight, but she said, I cannot tell it. So I'm going to tell it for her. This is a story based on an event in her own family. Excuse me. And let's see. So I'm going to pin myself. Yep. Okay. So this story is called Pieces of Time, and it's written by Anupama Venugopal. There was a man in his 50s who had come to the office where they give deeds for property. I guess it's called a revenue office. And he had applied numerous times in the last few months for deeds to land that had been in his family for years. And this was the 5th time that he was coming to the office to try to get these deeds, because the land was some distance away from where he and his family lived, and some other people had started living on that land, even though they didn't own it. But they were living there for some time, and they were claiming ownership, even though they didn't have ownership. So this man, his name was Venu, was trying to get the deeds from the revenue office. And today was the last day where he could submit it to the court, 6 hours from now. So here he was at the revenue office, online as usual, and it was hot, and the queue was long. And Venu said to one of the workers there, I've asked for this deed so many times, and I've come here so many times. Do you think I have a chance to get it today? And the worker said, I don't know, sir. Just please wait online. So Venu kept waiting online, but the line was moving very slowly, and it was hot. And Venu decided he was going to give up, even though it probably would mean that he would lose this land, which was the main source of wealth in his family, which he was looking forward to giving it to his children. But it seemed there was no hope. So he stepped out of the line, and with his head down, he began to walk towards the exit. But as he was walking, one of the security people said, "Sir, please come with me." And Venu said, What is it? Did I do something wrong? And the security man said, No, one of the IAS officers wishes to speak with you. So Venu was taken to a room, a very nice air-conditioned room. And see, Venu was in his 50s, but the IAS officer was a younger man in his 30s. And the IAS officer looked at Venu and said to Venu, "Sir, don't you recognize me?" And Venu searched his memory and realized he knew this IAS officer when the officer had been a boy. Because Venu, when he was studying for BCom 30 years ago, he had taken a job as warden of an orphanage for boys. And when he took that job at the orphanage, he was a little disturbed because the boys seemed very thin. And Venu found out they were not getting very much food. They were just getting a chapati here and an idli here, maybe with some sambar, but no vegetables. And Venu, remember, he was studying for a BCom, so he knew how to investigate the books a little bit. he investigated and he found out that only a fraction of the money that was assigned for the food for the boys was actually going for the food. And so it seemed that the cook and other people were siphoning off money that was supposed to go for the boys. So Venu contacted the managing trustee of the NGO that was involved and said to the managing trustee, there's something wrong here. The government money is not reaching the boys. The boys are so thin and they're getting cramps and they can't study properly. The managing trustee sighed and said, I think you should just let this go. Would you like your salary to be doubled? I can arrange it. So Venu excused himself and went outside and he realized that the managing trustee was in on the theft. But what to do? So Venu had a friend who was studying law, and Venu showed him all the books and the bylaws, and the lawyer friend said, there's a loophole. You as warden can call for an emergency meeting with the board of trustees without the managing trustee, and you can present your case to the board of trustees. So Venu, and remember, he was only in his 20s, he was a college student. But he took on the challenge and called for this emergency meeting. And that morning, he presented the case to the board of trustees, and he knew he had to do it fast before the managing trustee would show up. So he presented the case, and the trustees went out and conferred. They came back, and they said, Mr. Venu, you have discovered something, and we're very grateful to you. The managing trustee is removed from his position, and you as warden will now be responsible for distributing the money and the food properly. So that night and every day afterwards, the boys finally got proper food. They got their vegetables. And Venu worked there another 2 years and then went on to other things. And this was the memory that Venu remembered as he was standing in front of this IAS officer, because the IAS officer had been one of the boys. And the IAS officer said, sir, we were so grateful to you when you, when you got food for us. You gave, it's emotional for me. You showed that there is honesty in this world, and that honesty can triumph. And now most of the boys in my batch, most of us have government jobs now, and we're doing okay. And we owe our faith in government and in humanity to you. So then the IAA officer said, oh, by the way, what are you doing here? Why did you come here? And Venu said, well, I need these deeds for this land. And the IAS officer said, well, why didn't you say so? And the IAS officer called one of his assistants and said, we need these deeds within 25 minutes. Please give everything that Mr. Venu needs, give it to him. And it happened. And Venu got the deeds, and he went out and got on a bus. He had plenty of time to get to court. But as he sat on that bus, he said to himself, it's really true. The good you do comes back to you in this world. Okay, that is Anupama's story. So Anupama is not here tonight. She's probably sleeping because of COVID. but I hope she'll see the recording, and I hope she'll be satisfied with how I told it. Does anyone have any thoughts, any feedback about the story?
Just one thing, Eric, that
Mm.
what comes to my mind is what goes round comes round.
Mm. The good you do comes back to you. There is justice in this world sometimes. And you saw I choked up in there, right? I started crying. I'm known for that. I'm known as the crying storyteller because I let the story generate the emotion, and sometimes I get carried away by the emotion of it. They say that if a storyteller cries over his own story, he needs a therapist, not an audience. But in this case, I think it was justified. And I even tried to make it that one of the characters was crying, that Venu was crying, not me. So this the Venu is actually the father of Anupama, who's in my course. So this is a family legend. This is a family story in her family. I think her father is still with us, but this is a story that's told in their family to explain why they still have that land.
Eric, may I ask?
Go ahead, Priyanka.
So, Eric, you embody the story, you become the story that you start feeling it. I'm so curious.
Thank you. I became a character in it, you mean, or?
Yes, I want to explore whether you are feeling the pain in the story or you were relating it to some part of your life. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I am not really a method actor. A method actor will get emotion from things in his own life relating to the story. I've never felt a need to do that. I always feel that the emotion is generated by the story itself. And does anyone remember the moment in the story where I choked up?
I remember.
What was the moment?
Oh, it is when the boy gets
got
food.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, it was not a sad moment in the story. It was a joyful moment in the story. It's the joyful moment that gets to me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much, Alice. Beautiful.
But it's wonderful that after the sad moment, when the joyful moment comes, and then you choke.
Yes.
So the question is, as they say, the storyteller should not be in the story. He has to get past it. I often choke also if I'm telling a personal story, because the trauma is still so much that I am not out of that trauma, as some therapist or somebody said. I'm not out of that trauma when I'm telling the story. And then I stopped, but I did it just like you. I switch over, and I try to camouflage the moment and things like that.
Well, I think it's a good strategy to pretend it's the character who's crying, not the storyteller. Then you can blame it on the character.
Yeah, but that you learn as you go, as you tell more and more stories. Anyway,
I don't know.
Story, and I remember, if I may speak, I remember I used to take my mother-in-law again for the sale deed and land deed, and you know how the government officials are, and how you are twisted and turned and twisted till they get their way. We used to go to the government office revenue office in Delhi every morning by 10 a.m. and we would return empty-handed somewhere in the afternoon. but with the hope that maybe tomorrow we'll get justice. Maybe tomorrow we'll get justice.
So in
Well,
this
it still hasn't come, and
sorry.
we are still
In the
fighting.
story, it seems like it's almost a fantasy that the IAS officer rescues him. But as it turned out, it's a true story.
Mm.
Anyone else wanted to say something?
Well, I've got two things.
Okay, and
One,
then go ahead.
One,
go
I
ahead.
was amazed that apparently government offices are the exact same in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I've gone to government offices here in the state, it's the same thing you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who they are. And I've spent my entire storytelling career not doing what they say to do.
Mm.
But it seems to me, if you're not moved by your own, how are you going to move anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give that part of yourself to the story when you're telling the story, how is anyone else ever going to be moved?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important that we express when a story affects us. Make that it's okay as long as you make it part of the telling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like years ago in one of the groups I belonged to, they said it's okay to throw up in a story if you're scared, as long as you make it part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're not moved, how can we move anybody else?
Yeah. Thank you. Deepa?
I was about to say what he said just now, Mr. Jeff. I feel more connected to the story or the storyteller when I can see the emotions in the storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed the first part of it because of the bad internet.
Mm.
I thought, okay, I'll not be able to understand, or I felt bad when I was not able to listen to you, but thankfully I could make it, and I'm so happy. I feel privileged to listen to your narration. I'm listening to you for the first time.
Yeah, you
You're
know,
most
I don't think of myself, I don't market myself as a performer. I'm a bit of a scholar, I'm a trainer, I'm an event organizer, but in a pinch, I'll also tell a story.
But this was really nice. It touched me, and I could connect so many dots.
Mm-hmm.
So with so many stories.
And you can
Thank you.
You can watch the recording. A striking aspect of this story is that there's a long flashback in the middle. Yeah, because he's about to leave the office, but then the IAS officer calls him in, and the IAS officer recognizes him and says, "Sir, don't you remember me?" And then there's a long flashback where the Renu realizes that this man in front of him, that Venu knew him as a boy 30 years ago. And that flashback goes through that whole story of speaking to the trustees and winning the case and getting the food for the boys. So I hope that was clear. It's always challenge to make a flashback clear.
No, that was very clear and evident.
Good. Good. Okay, shall we close the session for the evening and for the morning?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
I'll be
much.
putting this on YouTube pretty soon. Great. Thank you. Jeff, it's great to meet you. Okay, bye.